but I want to hear about because I think the listeners will care. Where were you before the Pac-12 launched? How did you get the job? And literally who was the person that told you? And what was that story like?
Yeah. Well, first of all, who said there's no alcohol?
I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, wait a second.
Jim
If the
said we
screen
could
goes
have
black for a second, you know why.
Well, first of all, like I said, honestly, Yogs, I'm honored, and it just made me so happy seeing all of your faces on this screen. It's filling my cup in ways that I didn't even know that I needed it filled right now. So I was working in local news, and I think that was probably one of the biggest differences from where Mike and I both came from. Is I was had been on this local news journey. I had probably been in local news for about 7 or 8 years. Had hit all the hot spot, Albany, New York, Syracuse. I was in Indianapolis at the time. I had actually agreed to take a job in Washington, D.C. In, it was, I guess, 2012. Yeah, maybe February 2012. And hadn't signed the contract, but had agreed in principle that I was going to move out and take Lindsay Zarniak's old job in D.C. and was really excited about that. I had come out to San Francisco to visit my brother, who I now live next door to.
Hello.
This is actually, and again, I don't want to make this story longer than it needs to be, but the reason I came out to visit him was because I was supposed to go to a bachelorette party in Vegas, and it was right before tax season, and I got my taxes back, and I owed $2,000, and so I had no money to go. So I called my brother. I'm like, I have 4 days off, and I don't have I'm such an idiot. I can't afford to go. And he's like, well, just come out. I'll get you a flight. Come on out. So I came out, and that is when my agent at the time, Josh Santry, convinced Kristen Bredis, who was the hiring manager, to meet with me. He was like, Ashley's going to be there, and as the story goes, she was kind of like, I don't know. I have 2,000 reels, and we don't even know who we're hiring or what we're doing. She has no connection to the Pac-12. Okay, fine. Finally, we wear her down, and I go and meet her. And I remember driving out to Walnut Creek and having, just a really great conversation with her. And that was it. That was the one touch point that I had. And it was kind of like, well, maybe one day this will work out, right? I'm going to go do my thing, and maybe one day it'll work out that I'll be able to come work for the Pac-12. I really wanted to move to California. And it felt like a once in a lifetime opportunity to be a part of something that was launching. But I was ready to go take the job in DC. And right before I, was going back and forth negotiating the contract, and I got a text from my agent that just said, the Pac-12 Network just came in with an offer, we should talk. And I started crying. It was just such a visceral reaction. I just remember I was sitting in my room, and I just had tears running down my face because it didn't feel real. It felt too good to be true. And then, you immediately go to well, wait, why would they offer me a job? I haven't even auditioned, thank God, because if I did, I certainly probably would not have gotten hired. And it was a moment that I'll never forget. And I still, for the 12 years that I worked there, pinched myself, even through all of the really hard stuff that we went through. There were so many moments that I was like, I can't believe my key card still works. I can't believe that I have this job and they're letting me still come. So that was kind of how I found out. I thought I was going one direction. I thought I was going to one coast, and I took a hard left turn. And it's been the biggest, it was the biggest gift of my life professionally, no question, but personally, there will never be another opportunity that I get that I think will fundamentally change my life as much as the Pac-12 did.